A lot of people have great anxiety about the lead change in executing it and teaching it. And really, it can be the easiest thing to teach or one of the hardest things to teach depending on the horse's abilities. What a lead change is, it's a change of direction of the horse's hip in stride, keeping their shoulders up. So if you think about the body position that the horse needs to have in the lead change, you really have to have a lot of hip control and shoulder control. When I start teaching the lead change, the first thing I do is what I'm doing on this colt right here. I'll move him around at a walk, I'll make his hip move a little bit in each direction, and then once he feels like he's pretty broke to that leg pressure, I'll introduce it at a jog. So as you see me here, I'm just pushing the horse laterally off of my left leg. I'm using a little right rein to keep that shoulder up. Ideally, you want to feel the horse arc off of the outside leg and inside rein. So I'll use the right rein and then left leg. When he's good, I'll release it and pet him. Now I'm doing it in the other direction. I'll use a little right leg and left rein so he can move equally freely off of each leg. You can see I have a little more hold that left rein as I use the right leg, and he's a little stickier this way, so I might have to work on it a little more. Most horses are not ambidextrous, so you'll have to focus a little bit more on one side to the other. There's a little more resistance, but I don't make a big deal about it, and when he gives it to me and he's good a couple steps, then I'll release him and pet him. And I might do this for a while before I ever introduce the lead change. Once he's good here, what I'll do is go right from moving him off of the left leg to moving him off of the right leg, as you would in a class, so it doesn't come as a big surprise. Once he's very free there, the next step is I'll do the same thing at a lope. Basically, what I'm asking this horse to do is leg yield across the arena. I've got a little hold on his face as I drive him off of that outside leg. You can see him moving quite nice off of that left leg. I'll let him break down, and then I'll just remind him, hey, you have to move off of that pressure, so I side passed a few steps to the fence. Then I'll do the same thing the other way. And I might do this for a couple weeks. I'm not in a rush to get to changing leads until I know I have a lot of body control on my horse. If you do the homework, a lot of the horse's anxiety as well will go away in the lead change. Most of the time, we leg a horse to go forward, and then all of a sudden when we're legging them to change direction, they think forward or they get worried about it. And really, it's just we're asking them to move from one direction to another. Another thing to think about as you're working on the lead change, it's really not about changing direction in terms of I'm circling left, now I'm circling right. That will cause them to drop that shoulder and maybe crossfire. So I think it's real important you do a lot of work in straight lines. Now that this colt has moved well off of the left leg, I'm going to do the same thing off of the right leg. I'll start in one corner of the arena, I'll take a hold of my horse and start pushing him off of the right leg. You may recall this horse had a little more resistance in this direction, so I'm going to have to probably use a little more leg, a little more hand. I think it's important that you use your calf primarily and not your spur. Your spur is there to reinforce your leg. I try to keep that horse as light as I can just off of a calf. So I'll use the back of my leg before I ever introduce a spur. When he's good, I just let him relax and pet him. Here he is again, same exercise. I'm on the left lead, driving him off of the right leg. I'm trying to keep everything real relaxed, real quiet. And this is a nice colt. This is a 3-year-old. It's very early in his 3-year-old year. He's right on track for the futurities. So I just want to keep building his confidence and teaching him. Horses learn through repetition, so I might be stuck at this phase for a week or two as well. The next thing that I'll do to introduce the lead change is I'll actually move him off of one leg, break him down, and then essentially do a simple lead change, moving him off of the other leg. So here I am driving him off of the right leg. He's on that left lead. I'm going to break him down. I'm going to lift the right rein, add the left leg, and start pushing him laterally off of the left leg. So it doesn't come as any big surprise to him when I eventually ask him to change leads. We're going off of one direction, now we're going the other direction. Sometimes that can kind of surprise a horse and get you into a little bit of lead change trouble. You can see he's mostly working off of straight lines. I have a lot of hip control and shoulder control. So when he's at this phase of the exercise and this broke, I can start thinking about actually starting to change leads. Again, there's the simple lead change. I moved him off the left leg. Now he's moving off of the right leg. He's being very good. He's being very light in the face and light on his sides. So at this stage of the game, when they're executing it this well, I'll think about actually changing leads. You can see there was a little resistance there, so I moved his hip around his front end to remind him to move off of that leg pressure. So when I decide to actually do the lead change, as I did there, I just drove him off of one leg, then came in and drove him off the other leg. After a couple strides, I just broke him down as a reward, pet him, reminded him to move off of that leg. I'll do this a couple more times to just make sure he has it. Remember, all of these steps would take place over weeks. It wouldn't be you'd get him moving off a leg and then ask him to change leads the same day. So here again, a real good example. He's moving off of my right leg, and then I drive him off of my left leg in stride. He has a little more resistance there, but he was still good. We'll try one more time to make sure we have it. And make sure you can watch my legs and hands. And I'm sitting back and looking up as I'm doing the lead change. I think a lot of people tend to look down, which also gets you in a little bit of trouble. I think it's real important to keep driving your horse forward with your seat and keep him square between those reins. But if you take the time to do these exercises, the lead change shouldn't be a big problem at home. Thank you.